India is often described as the surrogacy capital of the world.
India's growing surrogacy industry is becoming a popular business venture for the country's poor population. Also growing with its industry is the amount of ethical issues facing everyone involved. But why is a developing country like India a hotspot for surrogacy?
I feel India is a heaven for surrogacy and IVF. In fact, for any kind of specialty, because for economic reasons, for expertise, for financial reasons, and for a mental peace and easily access.
Surrogacy is an arrangement where a woman carries and delivers a child for another couple or person. This other woman, called a surrogate, can be biologically related or, in many cases, unrelated to the couple. Dr. Anup Gupta is a prominent IVF and surrogacy doctor in New Delhi, India. He describes the process of surrogacy.
We have, 100 patients for surrogacy, and if you subdivide them, see, 15 to 20% of them, 15 to 20 number you can say, will have their own eggs, their own sperms, and they are unable to carry the pregnancy, maybe because of abortions or maybe some systemic problem or psychological problem. They come for surrogacy. So it is their egg and sperms, and we have to just match their cycle with the surrogate. So they have to be in touch with us, fix up everything, and when they come over, we sign a contract. We freeze their husband's sperms and we time her cycle with the surrogate, start the stimulation, start preparing the surrogate for implantation, and when the eggs are taken out, sperms are taken up, embryos are made, and the transfer happens only in the surrogate.
When straight or gay couples seek the help of a surrogate, this is called commercial surrogacy. This means the surrogate mother is paid for her time, effort, and her medical care. Commercial surrogacy has been legal in India since 2002. Since then, the industry has grown significantly. In recent years, there has been a 60 to 70% increase in foreigners opting for surrogacy.
Normally they are non-resident Indians, but we have done about quite a bit of Europeans and Americans and Australians.
Depending on the situation, clients, also known as intended parents or IPs, may need donor eggs. This is where facilitators enter the picture. Jagajit Singh is the director of WISAC's Surrogacy Center in New Delhi, India. He facilitates the surrogacy process for foreign and domestic clients. Singh helps clients find donor eggs.
They're coming from especially some European countries and majorly the CIS countries like Ukraine, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Belarus. These are the few countries from where we have tie-ups, and the ladies for Caucasian donors are coming from.
Egg donors, normally we 90% of them are Indian donors, but we get from Ukraine and Georgia.
In America, surrogacy is a complex process that can become costly very quickly. However, in India, the price is dramatically lower.
The basic value surrogacy package, which is around 26,500, which includes all the 5 activities of the surrogate compensation, the IVF procedure. We pay all the medical fee to the clinic within that. Okay. All the legal aspects of signing the contracts, of giving the guidance for the FRRO, for the Ministry of Health, apostille, and then taking the exit visa, and finally delivery also, birth certificates and delivery.
Cost aside, the heart of the surrogacy issue is the surrogates themselves. These surrogates are lower caste Indian women from poor families who volunteer to be surrogates to make money. There is much discussion on who these women are.
We only recruit those women who are ready to stay in our surrogate home. That is really our preference, because we really feel that we have a better surveillance and better monitoring of things.
We don't have surrogate home. Our surrogates are family women. They stay within the family, their own house.
Prior to being cleared to be a surrogate, Indian women undergo a lengthy medical examination to ensure they are healthy and, most importantly, fertile.
We look for that she has not taken any treatment for fertility, she has not had any chronic illness, She should not have repeated cesarean sections for her delivery. She should have uncomplicated antenatal period and no history of familial diseases like hypertension, diabetes, and no history of abortions, no history of any congenital malformations in the family.
The industry has faced a large amount of criticism over the use of surrogacy houses. Critics say they are unethical. Singh defends his company's use of surrogacy homes.
We are the one who really make sure that uh, we are really helping them to have their own bank accounts. They don't have their own identity cards to make them really socially recognizable. We really wanting that the norms of the insurance, the health insurance for the surrogate should be there. All things which are required for their welfare, we are really wanting to make it work.
Surrogacy homes, I feel somehow they are unethical. It is like a bonded labor. And normally people who don't have homes, they belong to a real lower class, uneducated.
Unlike the U.S., there are currently no laws regulating the surrogacy industry. This is a major source of concern for everyone involved. However, there are guidelines.
There is not any law. We are working on the proposed ART bill 2010, which are work in consultation with the ICMR guidelines, which is the Indian Council of Medical Research. They have laid down specific some guidelines. We have to follow that.
The Indian Council of Medical Research specifies that surrogates must be married and have at least one child. The guidebook, which is available online, is a 93-page manual outlining the rules the industry must follow.
I think that's for last 1 year or so that there will be some governmental pressures and there will be some proposed law, and we are not very sure what exactly in what way it's going, but the sentiments or the emotions shows that it's a good thing.
Steve Byers, who's an expert in religion and professional ethics and a USC professor, says in the absence of law, there are many ethical issues that come into play for everyone involved in the surrogacy industry.
In the absence of law and in the absence of enforced law that would protect the status of birth mothers, there are lots of ethical problems, I think, that attend to that. Because while a practitioner, a clinical practitioner, might insist that he or she is going to guarantee the welfare of the birth mother, is going to guarantee that there'll be appropriate prenatal care and there'll be appropriate postnatal care, in the absence of law that can ensure this and in the absence of enforcement of that law, then we have absolutely no guarantees. And so the ethical status of surrogacy under those circumstances does become ethically problematic.
Currently, there are no reliable statistics regarding the amount of surrogacy and IVF cases. Having reliable information is another reason for the guidelines becoming law.
No one in the specific centers reveals their exact numbers. It's just I can just tell you about my things, what we people are doing, and it's a very, I told you, very closed circuit kind of system. So every center has their own fallacies. They say something else from the marketing point of view, and what exactly is happening from the inside. It's a very.
It is not only the clinics that are taking advantage of the absence of regulatory laws.
So the surrogates have become very smart because once they do it, they become an agency, and they try to have people, and they have surrogate homes. They create surrogate homes within their house and all that. So we try to be little away from that, what they are doing. That's why I'm not encouraging surrogate homes. And what they do is, I have seen a number of patients, they are under stimulation in the same cycle with some other center.
Jesse Graham is a professor at USC and an expert in morality and ethics. He says moral intuitions come into play regarding this industry.
Somebody who's relatively secular and liberal might just see this as purely an issue about harm and fairness. Are the women being hurt? Are they being coerced? Are they being treated unfairly? Is there some sort of exploitation going on? And if there's not, then it's fine. Then there's no moral problem. But I think for religious people, there might be more of an issue of, is this unnatural? Does this go against the natural order? Is this disgusting? Is this something that feels icky? And that's kind of morally valid for religious people in a way that I think it's not for secular people. And all of these intuitions can be triggered by the use of money for these things. So anytime something is treated as morally sacred, whether it be for fairness reasons or purity reasons, if you're bringing money into the mix, I think money just feels, it's a value, and it's a value that everybody has, but it's a kind of a profane value. There's nothing sacred about money.
Graham is intrigued by the complexity of the debate for and against surrogacy.
We have all of these debates, between religious people and non-religious people, or between liberals and conservatives, and the debates will go on and on and on for years and years, and they'll never really go anywhere. And part of it is because there's different moral intuitions that people on either side are sort of building their opinions on. And so once you have these kind of strong intuitive moral reactions, you can talk about it until you're blue in the face, and it's not going to make much difference.
Ethical issues aside, if the guidelines are made laws, it will be interesting to see how the new surrogacy laws change the industry. And time will only tell if it changes at all.